Hey everybody! Welcome to this week's episode of Once Upon a Dream. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking to you about the things that you need to bring inside the 4 theme parks at Walt Disney World. We're not going to discuss the things that you would bring into the water parks. We're just going to keep it simple and talk about the things you would bring into the 4 major parks at Walt Disney World.
Number 1. What do you not need to forget whenever you go to the parks? Your magic band! Don't forget your magic band. This is literally your key to the world, Walt Disney World. This is going to be your ticket to the park. This is going to be your park hopper. This is going to be your fast passes, your dine-in reservations, everything. If you show up without your magic bands,
you are in trouble.
Out of luck. You're going to have to go all the way back and get them. So before you walk out of your resort, make sure this is on your wrist. If you're not staying on property at Disney, you're going to just have tickets. However, you will get to convert those into magic bands on property at anywhere in Disney. I think that you can do them in the resort, but I think
for sure all the parks that you go to,
they have little stations. I think in the Emporium they have a huge wall of just every color magic band. And it's right there when you first walk in. So make that your first stop if you want these cool magic bands, because you can add stuff to them, make them real cute and stuff like that. So if you just don't want a boring one, you can bedazzle them and stuff. Ours was just simple, so we really liked them. But don't forget your magic bands.
The next thing that we recommend that you bring to Walt Disney World is your backpack. You want to make sure that you have something that you can carry around all your stuff with, because you don't want to have to tote around everything in your arms all day, especially if you're going to be there, most of the day or all day. You'd be surprised how many things that you actually need once you get there. So you want to make sure that you have something to carry it all in. And also, if you buy stuff during the day at the parks, you have somewhere to put them. But if it's something that's like fragile that you're scared might get broken during the day, you can have them ship it to your resort if you are staying on property. So that is something to keep in mind too.
We didn't know that until we bought a Christmas ornament at the Christmas shop. And they asked if they wanted us to ship it to our resort if we were staying on property. And we're like, yes. Because I'm clumsy and I throw stuff around and I don't pay attention. It would have gotten broke, so we were happy that we had that option.
Absolutely would have. The next thing to keep in mind when you're at the park is to always stay hydrated, because you walk so much at the parks. One good way to do that is to always make sure that you bring an insulated thermos or a water bottle, like ours.
We got these from the Disney store. They're super cute. Ours have this little thing that you can put them around your neck. I don't like things on my neck. So when you do bring a backpack, make sure you have a spot where you can set them on the side and it doesn't get in the way.
Because those are super handy. We
used ours a lot.
The next thing that's a good idea to bring with you to the parks are small first aid items, such as Band-Aids, medicines like pain relievers like Tylenol or ibuprofen, or especially if you have allergies, Benadryl is a good thing to always keep with you at all times. Just small medicines like that is also something that you want to bring with you in case you need it while you're there at the park.
Because it's hot. If you go there in the summertime, it's real hot. You may get headaches and your legs may start aching. You do so much walking, so you just want to make sure you have something to take care of that so it doesn't ruin your day. The next thing you want to remember to bring is sunscreen. You want to make sure to apply it before you get to the parks, and you may want to bring like a little bottle. You can get some at Walmart or something like that, just to fill little bottles up so you don't have to bring a huge bottle of sunscreen in the park with you. But you may want to reapply it throughout the day.
Especially if you sweat, a lot during the day.
Yeah, and some water rods you get wet and you wipe your face when you sweat, so you may wipe it off throughout the day, and it's just good to reapply. Remember that you are in Florida. Even if it's cloudy, even if it doesn't feel hot, the sun you're being exposed to it. So you want to take extra precautions on that. So bring that, and make sure you bring sunglasses. We wore sunglasses almost the entire time. We always wear sunglasses. You may also want to bring chapstick with a high SPF to keep your lips protected and moisturized throughout the day.
You also want to remember to bring a poncho with you, no matter which park you're going to or what time of the day it is, because it is likely to just come up and shower at any time. And you want to bring one with you because if you have to purchase one on property or at a theme park, they can be rather expensive. So we recommend getting one beforehand and bringing it with you.
Our last trip, it didn't rain. We got really lucky, but every other time I've ever been to Walt Disney World, it has rained. I don't know how we got lucky on our honeymoon, but it didn't rain, and we didn't have to. We bought like 4 ponchos. we were ready, and it didn't even rain.
And usually they're just like quick showers that pass on through. But
yeah,
still,
they don't usually last.
But still,
long.
if you're walking around the park, you don't want to be soaked for the rest of the day. So bringing a poncho is always a good idea.
And if you go on a water ride like the Cali River Rapids.
Yep.
Don't wear a poncho. Enjoy it. You're not going to be wet for long. But if you have something going on where you can't get wet or you just don't want to get wet, you are allowed to wear a poncho on the ride. So if you are a person that does not like to get wet, that's another reason to bring a poncho. But if you do get wet, make sure that you bring extra socks if you are wearing tennis shoes, because there's nothing worse than walking around with smushy feet the whole time, because you just do so much walking and it's just miserable. Wet feet, smelly tennis shoes. It's just not a good combination.
Not good.
Some people do it. We didn't bring an extra set of clothes that you dry out pretty quick, but
so if you go on Splash Mountain or something like that, you may get wet and you may be uncomfortable if your clothes are still wet.
Yeah.
So bringing an extra change of clothes is also a good idea.
Yeah, I never if you're a messy eater or something, bring extra clothes. Or if you have children, you may want to bring them extra clothes. But you're in a theme park. If you get dirty, who cares? Nobody cares. So, but if that's something that you're worried about, bring an extra set of clothes. But for sure, if you have on tennis shoes and you are planning on riding like Splash Mountain or the River Rapids in Animal Kingdom, definitely bring an extra pair of socks, because your feet will get soaked. Your whole body will get soaked on the River Rapids. So keep that in mind. One thing you want to remember to do when you enter the park is to grab a map. If you're not 100% familiar with the parks, you want to make sure to grab a map so you don't waste a lot of time walking around trying to figure out where things are. That way you can know exactly where you are and you get to where you want to get to as fast as you can, so you don't waste any time.
Also, if you're more tech savvy or you like using modern technology,
if you have a smartphone,
you can download the My Disney Experience app, which we highly recommend, and
it's awesome.
we use the entire time. It will give you like up to the minute wait times for all the different rides, plus it also gives you a map that uses your GPS location and everything, so it shows you where you are in the park, which direction you're going. It is super helpful. So
yeah, it's kind of like on Google Maps. When you drive around, it's got the little red dot that goes, or the blue dot.
It does the same thing.
It does that with your body, where you're at in the location. So if you're like, well, I think it's this way, or I think it's this way, you just hold your phone out, and it helps you walk around the park, and it shows you exactly where you're going, the direction you're in. It shows you where the nearest bathrooms are, all the restaurants, where all the rides are. It's just awesome, and it's really handy if you don't want to carry around an old school map all the time. We do both.
We use both, and it worked out well.
Yeah, there's not one that's really better than the other. We use both, so try to grab a map just in case. Another thing that you want to remember to bring in the parks with you is if you're going to any special event, such as Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, you're going to have extra tickets.
Like these. These are our tickets to the Very Merry Christmas Party this year. You
Yeah.
have to have them to get in if you're attending those events. So make sure you have them with you so you don't have to go back to your resort or your hotel or whatever, because you have to have them.
Also, another thing that we bring is extra camera batteries. We always bring extra camera batteries. I think we bring 2 extra ones. You can go to any camera store or something like that. We have actually battery store that we got our extra batteries from. You can order them off Amazon or something like that. And we bring extra memory cards, because we go through memory cards.
Once you start snapping pictures or taking videos, it uses up more memory than you would think, in a short amount of time. So having extras is a good thing, because we definitely used a lot of hours.
Yeah, we used a lot, and you can never take enough pictures. Make sure that you also bring your chargers. We bring our chargers for our camera. Anytime that we sit down to eat, we're such nerds. We always sit by an outlet so we can plug our camera in if we do happen to run out of battery on our camera. We actually bring our phone chargers too, so anytime we sit down, we charge our camera, we charge our phones, we just make sure that we're good to go. We're sitting, why not? So just make sure that you bring that if that's something that you will be using a lot and you will need. We separate sometimes, so we have to have our phones to be able to find each other, because I don't like to be lost, and I look like a lost duck whenever I get lost. So make sure that you have that. If you're going to be separated, you need to make sure that you have all your stuff charged.
The next thing that you probably want to bring with you to the park are snacks, especially if you have kids with you, that may get a little antsy between meals or so, but it's always good to have snacks with you so you don't constantly have to buy things at the park. We also recommend keeping things in Ziploc bags like that, so you just have it conveniently with you there. Also bring extra Ziplocs with you to put like your camera or your phone in. If you're going on a ride that you feel like you're probably going to get wet, or you're going to get moisture on them at least, it's always a good idea to put them in there just to keep them safe. Also remember to bring hand sanitizer with you.
Definitely.
Because if you're moving around all these different rides, touching all these different things, it's always a good idea to keep your hands clean, especially if you're about to eat, or if you just went to the restroom, you don't like using their facilities there. Having hand sanitizer with you is a good idea.
And you have to remember how many people are in the parks. Thousands and thousands of people have touched spots that you have touched. I didn't bring hand sanitizer. I bring hand sanitizer everywhere, and I forget to bring it to the place where there's the most people ever, all in one little spot, touching all the same things. I forgot to bring hand sanitizer, and I had a sore throat by the second day that we were there. So that is super high on our must-have list that we just happened to forget. Always remember to bring hand sanitizer. It is very, very important. You don't want to get sick throughout your trip and have a miserable time. So make sure that that's something that you don't forget.
Absolutely.
Next, you want to remember to bring your pins in. If you're a pin trader, make sure you bring your necklace in with all your pins, or if you don't keep them on a necklace, just make sure that you keep your pins with you in case you run into a cast member who has a pin that you like. They'll always trade with you. So make sure you keep those on you just in case you run into somebody, a cast member, or just somebody that's in the parks that you could possibly trade pins with. So you don't want to leave without those. We're not pin traders. We're probably going to start it on our next trip. My little brother's a pin trader, and he's really, really big into it, and he does not leave without those. But if you're a pin trader, don't leave without your pins. Okay, so these are going to be some just random things that may or may not appeal to you. They're just something that could help you out, such as little coffee lids, the little disposable coffee lids. You can bring those if you like the Mickey bars, which I'm sure you do. You know that they melt really, really easy. So what you can do with those is you can stick the little popsicle stick of it down in the coffee lid, and it kind of catches it as it melts, so it doesn't get all over you. If your ear falls off, it'll catch your ear so it doesn't end up on the concrete. There's nothing sadder than a Mickey melted on the ground.
Everybody knows the ears are the best part. So.
You always start with the ears first. Another thing that you can bring is if you have kids. We don't have kids. Why do we always reference all these things to kids?
Just in case.
If you have kids, you can bring things like bubbles. You can bring bubbles. I know it sounds weird, but when you're standing in line and your kids are all over the place and they're getting antsy and they're really, really excited about riding the ride, and they don't have as much patience. They have the equal patience as me, which is almost none. You can bring bubbles, and it keeps them entertained. It doesn't really make a mess, and it entertains people around you. That's just something really random that we thought about. You can bring the little bitty ones you can get them at like Hobby Lobby or something like that, the little wedding bubbles. Those will work really well. They stay sealed, and they're really small. They don't take up a lot of space.
Also, you want to make sure that you have spare change with you, because in most of the parks, they have the coin press machines that you can get, different designs of. It's just kind of a neat little souvenir to have with you. I know last time that we were there, I wish that I would have had extra change with me because I wanted one when we were in Hollywood Studios, but I was out of luck.
That coin press is right across from Toy Story Mania in Hollywood Studios. It's right across. You'll see the little toy soldiers on the top of the building. It's in that building. So if you're looking for one of those and you can't find one, that's where one's at. I don't know if they list those on the maps. You just kind of have to stumble upon them.
It's just kind of a cheap souvenir that's,
it's fun for kids. It's fun for me. It's fun for Jared. It's nice. You can maybe start a collection of them. Every time you go, you add a new one. But another thing that you can bring is glow sticks. And they're fun for a couple of the parades and stuff like that, or the nighttime shows. But if you have a group of people and you want to be able to spot them at night, if you have glow sticks or something like that where you can see at dark, it can maybe help you keep up with people a little bit better, especially kids, and they're fun for them too, so that may work.
Alright guys, that was it for this week's episode. Please subscribe and leave us your comments below, and be sure to join us next week for our next episode. Thanks!